I'm Sarah Baxley, and welcome to Pinkie the Bear. This is my mystics, metaphysics, and mindfulness channel. And I'm here today with your astrology forecast for the week of September 9th, 2018. So the two upcoming themes for this week are 1. Unearthing a new chapter, and 2. Intimacy, comfort, self, and the groupthink. All right, so let's dive into the theme number 1, which is unearthing a new chapter. So it's kind of awesome because this week's video series begins out on the new moon in Virgo. So we have the new moon in Virgo on Sunday, September 9th. And essentially this is, I always say that, especially even if you don't know a lot about astrology, following the moon cycle, like just very simply new moon, first quarter moon, full moon, and last quarter moon, just like those major kind of points, will really kind of get you into the rhythm and start to kind of understand about the flow of life and the flow of energy and kind of a little bit about what astrology is all about. So anyway, so for those of you that would be interested, I challenge you to kind of just pay attention this cycle, since, especially since this week begins on a new moon, and just see. This particular chapter that begins on September 9th, it peaks on September 24th, and then the next chapter won't begin again until October 8th. So just to give you kind of a little bit of an idea. So that's kind of unearthing a new chapter, right? We still have planets in Earth. We're getting ready to kind of start to slowly move away with some of the Earth energy because we also have Mars ingress into Aquarius this week. But, it's really about kind of us kind of beginning a new chapter, and with the sun and moon at the new moon making an opposition to Neptune, it's kind of, there's a little bit of uncertainty and not necessarily in a bad way. It's almost just like things are a little bit new and in a little bit of a different direction, and so we might have to kind of think about things in a little bit more of a creative way than we normally would to kind of problem solve our way through it. So anyway, so then let's get into the theme number 2, which is intimacy, comfort, self, and the groupthink. So I'm going to kind of separate that second theme into 2 parts, because there's essentially 2 different transits that are happening there that I want to touch upon. One of them is the intimacy and comfort half of it, right? So where I got that from is basically also on Sunday, September 9th, we have Venus ingress into Scorpio. So we have Venus in Scorpio, which is very much emotionally driven. Scorpio is a water sign. It's about the emotions. It's a fixed water sign, so it's about diving deep into our emotional selves. Can sometimes be a little bit secretive, can sometimes want to be not necessarily sharing in that place of like deep emotional intimacy. But, so having Venus here, it's kind of like there's almost like this shift within our interpersonal relationships that's kind of taking this little bit of like a deeper turn, right? On a little bit more of an emotionally intimate type of level. And we see that kind of start to take place this week. Now, also it's interesting because on Wednesday, Venus comes to make that opposition to Uranus and Taurus. And I kind of see that as almost being like we're wanting to kind of have our independence and to have kind of be in our comfort zone, right? But it's almost like having Venus come to oppose it there. It's almost like there's this push for us to kind of go to maybe an emotionally intimate place, or maybe kind of come out of our comfort zone a little bit with our interpersonal relationships, and kind of be a little bit more open to share things that maybe might feel a little bit more intimate and vulnerable. And this doesn't have to be necessarily with like a significant other, or it could be with a friend. It could be maybe something, a memory, or maybe something that kind of comes up to where it kind of, we're almost like pushed into kind of thinking about things in a little bit of like a deeper way, kind of feeling things in just like a little bit more in a place of more depth of emotion. And so we're going to see a little bit of that this upcoming week. And also, too, we have Venus that's going retrograde beginning the first week of October. So this kind of theme that I'm talking about right now, of this polarity of intimacy and comfort theme, is something that we're going to kind of see for a while, right, with this, because Venus retrograde is going to be going back and forth over these points. So a lot of the themes that are kind of going to be coming up this week are, you're going to see them transpire throughout October as well. So I just kind of want to throw that out there, actually even through the first week of November. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there just a little bit. So we're kind of being pushed to kind of come out of our emotional comfort zone a little bit, right? And you'll see a little bit of that this week. Now, also, in addition to kind of those two energies that are happening, we're gearing up towards a Mars-Uranus square next week. So Mars was retrograde. We had it retrograde all throughout summer. It since went direct, but it had gone back into Capricorn and now is moving its way back into Aquarius. So there's almost like this, and that's kind of where the groupthink aspect comes up, because Aquarius is very much about group-minded thinking. It's very much about what's not just best for me, but what's best for the whole. And it kind of seems to have, I mean, it does, it has a hand in as well in this opposition that we have on Wednesday of the Venus-Uranus kind of getting us out of our comfort zone. And I guess kind of the bit that I wanted to add in is, because Mars is getting ready to go back over the South Node, or basically it's kind of getting ready to travel back over the place that's not necessarily our highest path. I think it's important to kind of keep in mind for us to, not only that we're coming out of our comfort zone in a way, in a little bit more of an intimate way than perhaps we've been used to in previous months or years, but also kind of do what is best for you. You know, if there could potentially be this pull to kind of have to take care of everybody, or to kind of try to, you know, keep a group happy, kind of like keep everybody happy. Maybe you're kind of juggling multiple things at one time. And though that's okay, I really want to make sure that both through this week and next week, especially when this transit is highlighted, that we're also remembering to take care of ourselves and honor our own light, you know. And maybe that does mean kind of reaching into these like emotional depths that maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable. And maybe that does mean kind of, you know, taking care of, you know, of people a little bit in a way. But there's just this added emphasis with the North Node in Leo for us to, throughout this whole T-square that we have going on this week and next week, to kind of just don't forget yourself. And I don't mean like don't like always put yourself first and kind of like let the ego get in the way, like none of that. I think that there's definitely a healthy boundary to where, you know, where it's important for us to take care of ourselves first, so that way we can take care of other people, or take care of ourselves first so that way we can we have something to give, right? Because if we don't sort of recharge our batteries, then we're running on empty. So just kind of keep that in mind, because there could be, you know, kind of some drainingness going on, because kind of reaching into emotional depths is not, it could, I mean, let's be honest, it could be exhausting sometimes, right? Kind of going to that like deep emotional place and pulling us out of our comfort zone. And if we feel like we're in the need where we're having to kind of take care of a lot of different people, or a lot of different eggs in a lot of different baskets all at the same time, there's just too much, and we can easily find ourselves running on empty. So just make sure that you're giving back to yourself both this week and next week as well. Just kind of really tapping into that North Node in Leo with this whole T-square energy that we have going on. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I just want to say thank you so much to those of you that have been watching and leaving me comments and likes, or subscribing to my channel. I just wanted to take a couple minutes just to say thank you so much, and how much I really appreciate your support and encouragement. So anyway, thanks again, and I hope you have a great week, and don't forget to give yourself a little bit of love this week. So anyway, thanks again. We'll see you around. Cheers.